And he is the founder of the sustainable eyewear brand Karun. And he is here to share turning waste into fashion. His name is Thomas Kimber. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yes? Good, thank you. This one's forward. So, I'm coming all the way from very far away, from Chile, from the south of Chile, from Patagonia. Very beautiful, majestic place. You can see in the image, that's one of the photos there. And I think I'm very inspired with the speeches or the presentations that they were just made, especially because I think we could see firsthand one of the problems that we're having, plastic in the ocean. But together with that problem, I think there's many more problems, or if you can see it differently, many more symptoms of a very complicated mindset I think we've had in the last maybe thousands of years, some say hundreds. We can argue about that, but the fact is that we've been thinking under a very wrong perspective. And obviously now if we're facing the future, and we're in a company that I think breathes the future, there's many challenges. We have the technological challenges and uncertainties and a lot to be done there. But there's many other challenges that are related. And I come from a place that I think we don't have the infrastructure, the technology you might necessarily have here. So I think that has given us a slightly different perspective in trying to face challenges in a different way. So we've been trying, instead of create new things, which in a way, I don't think we need more things, but in trying to change the way things are done. So Karun, it means, it's a very important word for us. It means to be nature in the indigenous language of the indigenous people in Chile. Actually, the logo that I'm tattooed, it means that if we don't succeed on this, I'm gonna have a problem. and that means that we are all part of nature. Animals, every living being are all part of the same thing. So I'm gonna tell you a small, short story about that happens here in the south of the world, in Patagonia. In that place, it's a beautiful place full of wilderness and nature. And in this place, lives a family in this house that doesn't earn more than 200, 250 euros a month as a family. So it's very different conditions from a more developed world or a big city. And the husband there, or the father of the house, is called Pedro. It's this guy here. Pedro has a small truck that he's worked all his life to buy and to really make sure that he can sustain his family in some way. And every day he drives through this landscape. And I was telling some people yesterday, can you believe that this guy is considered a poor person? And I honestly think we should rethink what poverty is, or what success is, or what wealth is. And he goes into a beach like this one. If you zoom in, you'll see this reality. And I'm talking about one of the most wild and pure places in the world. So imagine, as we saw before, what's going on in all of the other places of the world. And Pedro collects fishing nets. Let me see if I can go back. Collects fishing nets, collects ropes, collects buoys, collects different kinds of plastic. And thanks to the collaboration, thanks to the work that we have been doing with people from Sweden, people from Italy, people from UK, from the US, from different countries in Latin America as well, we've been, as we come from a small place, we've been opening up to the world and saying, hey, let's work together on a solution. And this plastic that he collects here today has become a symbol of change in a very iconic event in the world. So I'll leave you with a video so you can see what it has become. So please, if you can press play. So as you can see, can you hear me now? Yes, thank you. That's something that used to be waste in different forms. You have fishing nets, you have ropes, you have buoys, you have PP, nylon, and different sources, different kinds of plastic, have now become a valuable product like what you can see here. So the plastic is turned into pellets and then injected. We started working just alone there in different parts in Chile. Now we're collaborating with the UN Environment, with Volvo Ocean Race, with different organizations throughout Europe and now going to the US. And the interesting thing about here, as you could see before, is that the quality you can get is very high, but much more important is the message that's behind it. Sunglasses, if you think about it, is a very iconic element. You wear them on your face, you look at the world through them. That's why we say we can look at the world from a different point of view. That's why I started saying that Karun means to be nature, because we believe that no matter the impact in terms of volume, so far we've collected 15 tons of fishing nets only through the Volvo Ocean Race. And this could be a bigger volume, could be a smaller volume. But the goal shouldn't be how do we collect more plastic? How do we try to go and put band-aids on the wounds that we already have created? I think the goal should be, let's start thinking differently. Let's start looking at the world from a perspective of empathy, of love, of consciousness. And if we start looking from that perspective, then our decisions can change. And if our decisions change, then we'll eventually be building a whole different way of organizing. But so in a way, I just want to plant the seed that it's not only about using our brains and thinking about the most logical thing to do, but it's also connecting to people, connected to the environment under a different logic, and having that set the path forward and combining that with the logic. So the beach that you saw before now is looking like this. It's obviously constantly coming more plastic, so you need to keep cleaning it. But the important thing here is how can we build a model behind our business that it doesn't depend on extraction of raw material from the earth, or using synthetic materials, or just doing something and then donating some money to an NGO, for example, which could be good, but maybe sometimes you can't have any traceability of what's going on afterwards. So how can we have embedded into our business model a way that our own operations mean a circular model, but eventually a regenerative model? How can we use our business so that we can have regeneration of ecosystems, regeneration of local economies, and at the same time a very high performance product? And obviously, yeah, this photo explains quite well what we are. We are a very small company. We work in the kitchen, we work on the living room, we stay in apartments, 9 of us in one apartment to save some money, and still we're managing to do it. So I think this means that you don't need all the money, you don't need all the resources, you just need the belief and the motivation, and you can do it. And that's why I wanted to say thank you, guys. Even though we don't know each other, you're giving us the space to speak here. You are reflecting, you're giving yourselves the space to reflect and to think and to try to stop your work. I imagine you're all very, very busy in here, but to stop your normal activities and start understanding a little bit more and hearing different points of views. And I think you guys have a very important responsibility. We are in one of the most developed countries in the world here. You're working with one of the leading companies in the world here, and you all have leadership roles to play. And that's an incredible opportunity. So if we are doing what we're doing, which is a small impact in a way, and a big impact if you see it differently, I think you guys can also make a huge impact. And as long as we work together and then you understand that there is no way one company, one country, one group of people will make a change. The only way to do it is to start opening ourselves and working together with other people and really believing in that and understanding the essence of that, and not just as a communication thing or not just as a polite thing to say, but really actually doing it. I think the results you can achieve are way beyond what you can imagine. Take the sailors, for example. I think similar to you guys here in this room, the sailors would normally have the responsibility of sailing the best they can, working as a team, and getting to the end, to the other part, to the next port as fast as possible. And I think it's very inspiring to see what the sailors are choosing to do now. For example, Turn the Tide on Plastic invests 11th hour teams that are now here in Gothenburg. And they've used their platform, they use their work, they use their profession and their passions to do something about the problems we're having. They're not going to change the world. We're not going to change the world. You guys are not going to change the world. But every action come together will do so. And the ways that you saw before is being worn by them. They have a whole program sharing the logic of how to do something about the problems. And they're using the race to do something about the problems in the ocean. And not only that, but we're working together and see how can we keep improving. So that we realize that the fishing nets alone, at the beginning, weren't the best solution because maybe they were a little bit soft. So after some days in the ocean, in the worst conditions, the sunglasses started falling off. So that was a big scare we were very scared at the beginning. But then understanding, going back to the collaboration part, we took it as a great opportunity to really deepen the relationship. And the sailors have helped us to understand what they needed. And now we incorporated carbon fiber, recycled carbon fiber. So it's still 100% recycled frame, but very well performing. And now the sailors are performing extremely well. And there's no way we could have developed such a high quality, in a way, technological product if it weren't with the collaboration with the sailors and the people working with in the communities. The same with the teams. Both teams have been really supportive. And I think, going back to the same thing I was saying before, how can we understand that if we're sitting inside our own rooms and our own worlds and our own countries even, we're always getting the same input. But if you take yourself and put yourself in a different reality, very different reality, and you understand the needs of people that are really having problems, not only with climate change, but with their own reality and where they were born, then I think you can get to really, really understand where the real problems or the real challenges maybe are. And I think this photo summarizes quite well the whole spirit behind what we're doing. We're a small group of people with a lot of passion. We absolutely love to be in contact with nature, and we are using Karun more than anything, I think, and I think this is the best part, as an excuse to dedicate ourselves to our passions and using our passions to inspire change. So if passion is a very big and important source of energy, so if you can harness that passion and channelize it to things that you think and you believe that can make an impact, I think then you can have something. And just looking around here, you're full of things that can be very passionating. So if I could just transmit one message here is try hopefully to reflect on the privilege you guys have to be here in this company or in this country, and try to use that and be, with a sense of responsibility to hopefully help all of us be living in a more beautiful world. And mainly understand that all of this, at the end of the day, changes lives, and we need to change lives, not only human life, but all life. And in our case, apart from the environment, all of this that I just explained is having a direct impact in Pedro and his family, because this fishing net, or this rope, or this other part of plastic that has been collected and sold to us, then is used as a seed capital. So with that, he generates income, and he invests in his wife that has never had a job before, and that has never had some source of income. And now she's developing her own empanadas, very nice, beautiful empanadas. And now she is not only making empanadas, but now she's dreaming of having her own restaurant and turning her whole house into a tourism place to receive people from Europe and from the US, and to start exchanging cultures and to start really dreaming. And that in itself is making them transform their whole community. And we're just a small sunglass company from Patagonia. So all these things are possible, and that's the best thing of all. So I invite you all to start looking at the world from a different point of view, to understand that if we want to change the reality we have, we need to start looking at ourselves as a part of nature. So thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.